So video rental stores used to be a big freaking deal. They're all going away now. But do you remember like when there'd be a new release? For us, it was Back to the Future 2. Like there'd be like a small crowd of people at a video rental store waiting for that one copy.
Your video store got only one copy. Well, I feel sorry for you.
It wasn't a Blockbuster. It was a local, it's called Video
even local
Spotlight.
video stores got more than one copy. There was always like two to three.
One copy.
Oh, you poor souls. I don't know what video store this guy went to. But
It was called Video Spotlight. It was on Main Street in Munhall. And the funniest part about it was their logo was a star, but it wasn't a normal star. It was the Star of David. It was like Video Spotlight. In the middle was the Star of David. Yeah. It wasn't a Jewish-run store. I just imagine that some guy got a deal on a neon star and just it happened to be a Star of David. He's like, it's a star. It'll work. I was like, if it was World War II, this shop would have been shut down.
Friday and Saturday nights going, like your parents would take you out to dinner and then you'd go to the video store to get your movie. And if there was a new release, you'd be calling up there all day, like, did it come in yet? Did it come in yet? It was crazy.
Or you'd be waiting sometimes if there was something you really wanted.
Oh, yeah. You just hang around the video store.
Waiting for someone to bring it back. So as they walk in, you're like, hey, is it Back to the Future 2?
What do you got there? What do you got?
Is it Goonies? You bring back Goonies? Asking to get the display or the poster after they were done.
I had this great, fantastic Gremlins 2, the new batch. It was this huge cardboard art, and it had like Gizmo. He was in a drawer or something.
You're like 8 years old, and you like walk up to the counter. You're like, whenever you're finished with
the
that,
funniest part is I had to drag that thing the whole way from the video store because it was huge. They just were throwing it away or something, so I drug it, which is probably like almost like a mile, all the way home.
A lot of times, you used to pick movies just based off of box art alone. You just walk around the stores, the shelves, looking at stuff, and you say, "Oh, there's this little green guy coming out of a toilet. That looks good."
You would stay in a video store for like an hour just perusing every single box.
Yeah, I can distinctly remember the first movie that us as a family had rented. We didn't even have a VCR. We had to rent the VCR too. We didn't even have a VCR at the time. So the first movie that we all rented and gathered on to watch was RoboCop. That's like our family movie.
Not a bad family movie.
It's a good movie, but I was like,
I was traumatized when I saw it. My dad rented that, and like he would always rent the real action films.
I remember renting not just video games, but you could also rent video game systems. So I remember renting a Sega Genesis there, and we had no idea how much it cost to rent it per night. And we had it for like 5 nights. And so they suddenly called our house and they were like, you have a $45 bill. And my mom like showed up at my friend's house in the backyard. Like if you're playing with your friends in the backyard and suddenly your mom shows up looking over the fence, you know you're in trouble.
Was it your job to take it back?
Yeah, because it was right up the street. We walked there.
Oh,
yeah, it was a block away.
Okay.
Yeah, so you just walk there, and she had no idea if it had this house. So like $45. It might have been more. It might have been $75 or something like that. I just remember we could have bought a system.
Exactly.
Could have bought what it was cost, but we had it.
My dad would get really paranoid about leaving the video in the car. If you got out of the car and there was still a VHS tape in the car, he would like hide it under the seat and like throw a blanket. He's like, I better break in a car and get that.
That's the other thing about rental stores. When you did have a late fee that was like large, you just wrote off that movie store.
I guess we're not going there anymore.
Yeah. It's just funny to think that there was a time where you could, certain movies you just could not see. So for instance, Back to the Future, I've used this example a couple times. It was out every single night for like 3 months. So it's like, if you want to see Back to the Future, you're just screwed. You just cannot see it now.
You need to get tight with the employees to get those, And VHS never had widescreen either. They never had widescreen. Like if you got a movie like Star Wars, which is in that 2.35 aspect ratio, they would just cut off like that much the scene. My whole life I didn't even know that there was other bounty hunters in the scene in Empire Strikes Back.
You didn't even know Zuck is.
Who is that? Oh yeah, I do have his action figure. I just thought they just added him for the sake of adding him. My dad would be like, I don't want those black lines in there.
Because they think the black lines are covering the picture. Yeah, everyone's like, why are black bars covering the screen? I'm like...
Was your video store the type of video store when you would rent a movie, they would just put a little out sticker on it, or did they just take it completely off the shelves? I hated those video stores.
No, you didn't know what they had. We had to go ask.
What?
Like they just had the box art.
Oh, you had to bring up
the box art and be like, "Do you have this?" No.
That seems like
because they didn't have like a computer system or anything like that. They just had like all the videos were just on shelves behind them. So you go up and ask them, "Do you have Gremlins?" And they'd have to walk over to the G's and be like, "No, it's out." So it got to the point where we stopped looking at box art, especially for video games. You just stopped looking at the box art. You just went up to the counter and just started looking over the employee just to see if it was there.
We can't even. Yeah, I can't see
Yeah,
it.
just to skip it. You
That's a
just be
horrible
leaning
system.
over.
That is horrible.
Yeah, well, it's a little mom and pop store.
Well, why didn't they just put it back and put an
Yeah.
out sticker?
And now
like,
it's an
these are
apartment
great little
building.
out tags.
It's now an apartment building, so like there's like 2 or 3 people. You live in Video Spotlight now. So that's video stores. They're all gone.
It's really sad.